What's up? I'm Ashley, and we're breaking down The Boys, Season 4, Episode 4. So let's get right into it. Homelander goes back to his childhood home where he was conceived with Soldier Boy's sperm inside of this underground lab. As he enters the lab, he cuts off all of the security cameras and cuts off all communication with the outside world. The staff inside are shook, but hey, at least he was nice enough to bring them all a cake. They were hesitant, they didn't want any of that cake, and they for sure didn't want him there. But since Homelander insisted, they ate the cake anyway. He noticed Barbara, who is Vaught's scientist, isn't there, and he demands for her to come in on her day off. But before Barbara arrives, Homelander is playing nice, as if everything is all good, but it doesn't take long for his true colors to pop out. He starts off with Frank. He challenges him to a game of waste paper basketball, and if he wins, he'll allow him to go home early. But then, Homelander tells Frank a story of a time he saw him playing this same game during a time he turned up the temperature of the oven Homelander was inside of. He was attempting to burn off Homelander's skin, and even though his skin never came off, Homelander tells him it still hurt. He tells him no one cared about his pain, his tears, or his screams. Frank tells him he was just doing his job, but Homelander tells him to get inside of the oven, and if he doesn't go in, he'll make his family get inside with him. Homelander tells him he's just doing his job, and then turns on the oven, and Frank is now burnt up to a crisp. He turns his attention to Marty, and he makes Marty massage his hot dog in front of everyone and laughs at him, since Marty laughed at him when he walked in on him massaging his when he was a kid. Marty couldn't get it up, so Homelander lasers his hot dog right on off, then smashed his head in with his foot to put him out of his misery. Barbara finally shows up and tells Homelander they were just following orders, so they were too afraid to help him out. She tells him his powers were always strong enough to escape anytime he wanted, but he didn't, because he didn't want to disappoint them. He wanted them to love him, and that was his human side coming out. Homelander tells her he's not human, and he will raise his son to know that as well. He takes her to the bathroom where he wants to explain to her why he calls it the bathroom. He leaves her inside with all of the remains of the staff. Everybody's blood, everybody's heads and arms are everywhere. And the last shot we see is Homelander covered in blood with this weird smile on his face. Now, I usually never agree with anything Homelander does, but they did a great job making us feel sorry for Homelander. At least it worked for me. So him getting revenge didn't bother me at all. I was kind of rooting him on, to be honest. But y'all let me know your thoughts on it. Butcher faints in the shower, and that worm that was crawling around in his head is now crawling around in his back. When he passes out, he sees Becca, and he sees her in various scenes throughout the episode. And when he sees her, she's usually encouraging him not to give up. Butcher is brought back into the boys by MM after MM is the one who kicked him out, but Butcher now has a plan to get back at Firecracker by using $50,000 of the CIA's money to get a video of Firecracker being intimate with a 15-year-old boy, while she was a 28-year-old counselor at a Capes for Christ Bible camp. He tries blackmailing Firecracker with this information, but she doesn't care, and she sends it out herself. Now, supposedly, this $50,000 went to a soup named Webb Weaver to help out with his drug habits. And we also saw that Webb Weaver was discharged from a global wellness center, stating this time is different. While snooping through Firecracker's trailer, Butcher is confronted by Ezekiel and his stretch powers. They start fighting and Butcher is losing. It was looking like he was about to die. Tap right on out. But then Butcher blacks out, and when he wakes up, he finds Ezekiel ripped apart. And Butcher is covered all in his blood. Maybe that worm that's crawling around in Butcher's body is keeping Butcher alive. Maybe it's his superpower. We know that he told Huey that he took Compound V to save his life, but it had no effect on him. But maybe Butcher just doesn't know that in some weird way, the Compound V is really working on him and it's what's keeping him alive, even though he's over there passing out. We just gonna have to wait and see. We also saw Butcher telling MM when he dies, he wants MM to take care of Ryan as if Ryan was his own. Becca pops up again because she wants to know the tea. She's nosy. She wants to know what MM is going to say. But we don't get an answer from him at this moment, but this will definitely come up again. Starlight beat Firecracker down to a pulp, dragged and mopped her up with the floor. After Sister Sage somehow found Starlight's medical records of her having an abortion when she was 6 weeks pregnant, and Firecracker letting the world know. The beatdown went viral. And now some supporters that Starlight had has turned on her, and you can see it in the comments, saying that they've lost so much respect for her and how she's lived long enough to become the villain. And now, since this has happened, the deal Starlight made with President-elect Robert Singer is over and done with. He tells her there will be no more anti-soup bill that will allow soups in the military or the government. I don't understand why the world thinks Starlight beating Firecracker up is way worse than Firecracker having an inappropriate relationship with a 15-year-old when she was 28, while Homelander can kill people right in front of their eyes. And I'm also not understanding all of the backlash Starlight is getting from when she was 13 years old, when she saved people in Walmart and accidentally blinded a mother. She didn't do that on purpose. She was just learning how to use her powers, and people are coming for her on that too. Make it make sense. Huey's father is about to tap out. Doctors say it can be any minute now. And with Huey not wanting his father to die, he asked A-Train to steal a vial of Compound V from Homelander's home, and that if he does this for him, all will be forgiven for that time he killed his girlfriend. A-Train agrees, and he gives Huey the Compound V. But once Huey has this Compound V, he's now struggling whether or not to give it to his father after the talk he had with Butcher, when Butcher tells him that it didn't work on him. After it looks like he decides not to give his dad the Compound V, he walks out to get both him and his mother coffee. When he comes back with the coffee, his mother is in there looking suspicious. She looks like she just did something. What you do, girl? Then all of a sudden, we see that his father has been injected with Compound V, and he suddenly wakes up. Now, how did she know Huey had Compound V? Maybe she saw him put it in his pocket, and when he walked out, she injected it. I don't know, maybe she's a soup herself, and she's over there playing in everybody's face. Y'all let me know what y'all think, but it will be interesting to see the aftermath once Huey's father wakes up. It's important to point out that some repercussions will come to A-Train and Ashley for being inside of Homelander's house. While A-Train was stealing the Compound V for Huey, Ashley was also inside, leaving some kids in the pool for him. But she was also up to something else that we don't know yet. I think A-Train and Ashley will have to work together on this some kind of way, but they will get caught. When Huey brings Kamiko to his meetup with A-Train to get that Compound V, the Shining Light was following Kamiko. And it's the same girl we saw in the warehouse, who's also a part of the Shining Light organization. So the Shining Light starts shooting at Huey and Kamiko. Huey hurts his ankle in all of this commotion, while Kamiko takes out all the guys. But then the girl shoots Kamiko and cuts open her insides, but it doesn't take Kamiko long to recover. But even with hurting his ankle, Huey held his own, killing this guy by cutting open his insides and cutting his throat. Kamiko tries reaching out her hand to the girl as a form of forgiveness, but the girl is like, no, she doesn't want to take it. We learned when Kamiko was working for the Shining Light, she bought this girl ice cream, then tricked her into getting kidnapped, then beats her up at this camp and tells Kamiko she hates her. But for some reason, I'm feeling like they're gonna end up working together to take down the Shining Light organization. Frenchie finally tells Colin he was the one who killed his whole family. Colin's mother was a federal judge working on a Russian mafia case. Frenchie was ordered by his former employer to take her out and make an example out of her. Once Colin finds this out, He almost kills Frenchie, and Frenchie's even telling him to do it since he's feeling so guilty, which is probably the reason why he's doing drugs now. But Colin decides not to kill Frenchie for some reason, and he tells him that if he ever sees him again, that he will kill him. The Deep is hurt after finding out Sage doesn't want to talk to him anymore after hooking up, because he's hooked. But she decides to talk to him again when she decides she wants a lobotomy that she had him perform on her, because that's the only way her mind is able to relax. He doesn't want to do it, he's a little hesitant, but she tells him that if he does this for her, then they can have a little butt fun, if you know what I mean. And he jumped right to it because you already know he a little freak. This lobotomy dumbs her down, so that way she's able to hook up with the Deep. We also get a mini update on Marie, Jordan, Kate, and Andre. We see a commercial with them in it for a new episode of The Whole Truth by Tech Knight, who's discussing the disappearance of the real heroes of the Cadogan Massacre. And it's only a matter of time until we see Sam and Kate. But y'all let me know your thoughts on the episode down in the comments so we can talk about it. And if you haven't already and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.